All right, so I can maybe excuse somebody not having a flashlight on their carry gun, their concealed carry gun or whatever. Maybe like size or weight or holster availability is an issue. Maybe I could excuse not having a light on your carry gun, maybe. But there's absolutely no excuse to not have a light on your primary home defense weapon. None. And now, before we even start, let's... Normally I entertain this, but let's not do the, oh, you're just giving your position away. When you say things like that, people automatically know that you don't know what you're talking about. Just because a flashlight is on your gun doesn't mean it has to be on your gun. In this video, we're going to be comparing and contrasting the Olight Odin Mini and the Surefire Mini Scoutlight Pro. We're going to unbox them, talk about the differences, talk about the similarities. I'm going to talk about some of the features that I look for in a weapon light, what's important to me, how that might or might not be important to you. Now, this isn't going to be a range report. I'm going to talk about the features on them and relate it based on my experience. We're also going to do some beam tests, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on what they look like outside at night. But, I don't have time to adequately torture test these. So this would suit you if you are either a hobbyist or you're looking for a light to put on your home defense weapon, whatever type of weapon that is. Or if you, are looking for a place to start. If you're going to be working professionally with the gun, I really recommend that you buy all the lights and shoot them a bunch and torture test them if you're going to be routinely, professionally betting your life on them. This is my first experience with the Surefire Mini Scoutlight Pro. Wow, that's it? Is this it? What does this guy do? Got a little dingle dangle thing here. This guy is pretty similar to the Surefire that I've had before. I love that smell. That new flashlight smell. Some people have heard me say that before and they think it's a gag, but get you a new nice flashlight and you'll know the truth. Woo! Now, one thing that I can say confidently straight out of the gate, the unboxing experience, the packaging at Olight is much snazzier, but that might not matter to you. Oh, this is, ooh, you fancy, huh? It comes with accoutrement. That's some kind of stuff in there. This has a pressure switch. Comes with a lot more stuff. Some zip ties, which we'll talk about later. Manual and a cool box with magnets. So it comes with a lot more stuff. It comes standard with the M-LOK mount. That's what it came with. And it kind of fits in there. I'll show you more about how they mount to your weapon later. The Picatinny mount is actually a separate accessory with the Odin Mini. So that doesn't come with it. You'd have to get that separately. The links down below will kind of like outline everything that comes with what. So it only comes with the M-LOK, which I didn't like it first because I didn't have a gun that took it. But now I do. So now I have an Odin Mini attached to this. Now, setting these guys up side by side, the Odin Mini is, I think, heavier. I think it's a little bit heavier. And maybe that matters to you. Maybe it doesn't. Now, I've never been a weight geek. If ounces matter to you, and I guess if you're on a tour of duty and you're holding your rifle or whatever up, then ounces can add up. On a bedside gun, that's not a big selling point to me. But this one is a little slimmer, and the way that it mounts is a little, less bulky. There's less like extra there. If the way things look to you matters, this is what they look like. Now let's look at the Surefire one mounted here. Now, this is not tightened down all the way. You can, because it articulates, you can snug it right up to the rail or the handguard or whatever you're mounting it to. So there's no like extra. You can put it exactly how you want it. This is how I do it. I know that some of you are going to say, you should be doing this, and this, like all kinds of other stuff. This is the way I do it. The way you should do it is the way that you have the most success with while you're actually training, not just theorizing. Snugged all the way up right here. I can push it forward. Now, One thing that's different about this than the Olights, it's got this little rubbery nubule in there. Hard to push on accident because it's recessed, but easy to push on purpose because it's rubbery. The tail cap like what you're probably used to, but if I push a little bit, I get momentary on. If I push as hard as I can, it clicks and stays on. That's how you click it on and click it off. You just push it a little to get momentary to where if you let go, it turns off. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I'm used to. I like to be able to push it as hard as I can, and when I let go, it turns off. I would have to practice a lot with that to become comfortable and familiar and automatic at that sort of thing. So, it depends on you. The Olight M-Lock mount is not quite as sophisticated. It's a little bulkier, but it happens to line up perfectly with my gun, and it puts the light about where I'm used to practicing with a light. So with this one, with the magnetic tail switch, with the charging that you're familiar with, which I'll show you about it later if you're not, if you push it as hard as you can, you get all the light it has to give, and then when you let go, it turns off. You have to very intentionally try to get constant on. And some people might think, well, you'd never want constant on. Yeah, you do, because sometimes you need the light on and you need your hand free, or you're like getting tired because you've been holding someone or something at the end of your gun for like a while. That happens. So it's good to have options. I just like to be in charge of them. I prefer the light to default to momentary when I'm holding it. When I let it go, it goes off. And to get constant on, be an intentional choice. Whereas most lights with a clicky tail switch, you click them on, they are on, and you have to try to get momentary. And this is really splitting hairs. You could do fine with either one as long as you practice. But let's talk about a couple more of the key differences between these lights. So they're in the same size category. This one's a little lighter if ounces matter to you. The mount articulates if that matters to you. With this one, you get more stuff. It does not come with the Picatinny mount. It's a separate accessory, but it comes with other stuff. It comes with everything you need. This guy just comes with one of those expensive batteries, which brings us to another point, the batteries. You have to buy batteries for this guy. This guy's rechargeable. You plug that in there, and it just starts charging. I like Olights. I didn't like this in the beginning. I wanted one of these right here, little rubbery nubule. When I first started using and reviewing Olights, I wasn't crazy about this, but I've practiced a lot, and now I've gotten used to it. The thing we definitely know that's not subjective is that the Surefire is vastly more expensive. You can get this Olight for way cheaper. In fact, that's why they sent it to me. They sent me this one and they sent me this to review. They wanted me to have both so I could compare them. They're actually coming out with a limited edition, which is going to be part of their sale. I have more information on the sale, all the other stuff coming out. And this one, woo! That boy is sharp. That's a little different. I always think that gray is a little more sophisticated. This is a little more obvious. This is a little more, I don't know, grown up. I don't really have a problem with either light or prefer one over the other. It's just I've practiced more with lights like this. At one point in my life, I'd practiced more with lights like this and I would have preferred it. But they're both fine lights. Now, this isn't a torture test or a range test. This is just a casual unboxing, just a general overview of the differences between them. In fact, Olight sent me theirs for free. They also sent me this because they wanted me to do a comparison. It's kind of interesting. I'll put links down in the description below where you get information on the sale and also the limited edition version. And I will also put a link down to this below. You can get that as well. It's available on Amazon. But let me know your thoughts. Do you have a preference, flashlight brand or weapon light brand, or where do you mount your light? How do you mount your light? And are you one of those people that for some reason thinks that a flashlight on a gun is a bad thing? If so, we're not friends. Now, let's beam test these suckers. This is my backyard with some ambient lighting. This is the Odin Mini, and that's the low mode. I could actually, oh, what's that? I see a little critter there. Boom. That's the high mode. That joker is bright. This is probably engagement range. That where I'm standing, I don't know the actual distance, but just from personal experience, that their pole is about the furthest that regular folks would ever be shooting at anyone or anything from where I'm standing. I can see it fine. This is in that low mode. This is in turbo. Now, light beams, beam tests on camera never really tell you anything, but that's the Odin Mini on a full charge. This is the Surefire. So it does not seem as bright. Well, it's not nearly as bright as the high lumen mode on the Odin Mini, but it does the trick. But that's sort of it. My neighbors think I'm weird. Another thing that's sort of interesting about the Surefire is that a lot of their bodies can accept different tail caps and bezels, so you can get different types of lights and also attachments for, like, you know, pressure switches and things. But it's none of it's easy on, easy off. You have to unscrew things. You have to unscrew this in order to get the mount off. A thing that I just noticed, I have a bunch of these, but this is a new kind of one. One of my criticisms before of this was that it came off sort of easy, but now it has like this little locking ring in place. So if you want to use the pressure switch, which is what those zip ties I believe are for, or if you don't have a gun that'll accept the light, you can zip tie a flashlight to that bad boy, and you know your gun, your home defense gun, should have a light on it. Now the Surefire mount, while it's a little slimmer and is a little more customizable as far as the angle, the benefit of this mount is that you can really quick take it out, and then, like, I don't know, like if you can't leave stuff alone, you have to play with things all the time, or if you need an actual little you know, handheld light, this does that too. But let's look at the specs between them. Now, when I say specs, I'm only going to be talking about lumens, runtime, maybe throw. This one's 500 lumens, 1 hour of runtime, 175 meters of throw, a fine weapon light. But that 1 hour of runtime, now, if you were a super serious tier 1 operator with a pocket full of batteries, maybe, you know, you that would be a business expense for you. If you don't ever shoot it, you can store lithium batteries for a while. You can leave one battery in there. But the 1 hour of runtime, and it's only got the one setting, it's either on or off. The Olight Mini has multiple modes, and it says on its low mode, because you got, you know, different outputs, like you got a hard push to go turbo. On low mode is 200 lumens, not quite like blinding, but enough to see stuff. That's 5 hours of runtime. But turbo mode is 1,250 lumens. That is a bright ass light. Now, obviously, it won't run for as long at that. And the runtime there, I'm a little unclear. Okay. The way it works, it's 1250 for 6 minutes, 900 for 11 minutes, 700 for 39 minutes, and then you get 200 for 14 more minutes. So that's over an hour, and for the majority of that, you're at 700 lumens. Plus, this guy is rechargeable, which that's a kind of a big deal if you're talking about buying batteries. Like, so if you play with your light all the time, I wouldn't know anything about that, you're gonna run the batteries down. If you got money like that and you can afford the batteries, then you can probably afford the Surefire. But if you ain't got money like that and you like that rechargeable action, Odin Mini might be right for you. Me personally, I like rechargeable. I like knowing it's charged up. I like being able to check if it's charged up. I do have some lights that take batteries. One of my everyday carry lights takes batteries. I do kind of like the idea of being able to just throw batteries in something and know that it'll go, as long as they're new batteries. When they're not new batteries, you have to worry. Now, when that's a light you just use to look in your junk drawer, it doesn't really matter. But when it's a light that you might be counting on during, you know, something more serious, that's not a step I would like to think about. But to each their own.